You're tuning into. You're now listening to the best music. Feel the freshness. We know wasted time. We got the keys to the city. We don't even think of a city. When I figure out too much you did. I'm reaching out to all our brothers to come down with him on today. You're tuning into Fire Radio, and you're listening to. You're now listening to the best music. I took off from what flag gas for you. All dreams come true to you. You're the only candidate I see. We don't depend on the system. But to Monday, you're wicked. Happy Monday, family. Hope you had a great, beautiful weekend. Welcome to Let's Talk with Iruton. I hope you're basically excited for yet another show of redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves. And the conversation of the day today is you can't prepare for a revolution. Another conversation to actually help us re-strategize and basically understand what's really happening. Also, we're going to be talking about albinism and also the fact that it's a genetic condition characterized by a lack of pigment, the only one and only melanin. Also, we're going to be talking about a little bit of what Bishop, he was being called Joshua Maponga right now. Joshua Maponga did that, and the fact that he actually explored Europe, that's few weeks ago, and he actually renamed some parts of Europe. Very, very, very amazing names that he gave to the city or the continent of Europe right there. Join me right away as we talk about this amazing conversation about Judaism, Afrikaners, also Afro Forum with the one and only Joshua Maponga talking more about this, albinism, and also the fact that we should definitely be ready for the revival of the land. Kemet, it's your girl Iruton Longoria here on the Black Hot Fire Radio Network, meteor of the 21st century, another awakening conversation, but also remember to follow us on all the social media platforms. Kindly also subscribe to our channel, hit the noti bell, and invite more people to listen into our amazing conversation. Also, we do have amazing apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fat Radio logo on it. As you download our app on the Google Play Store, it's super free if you're using the Android device. If you're using your computer or the iPhone device, kindly stream on www.blackhotfireradionetwork.com. We are coming in with a conversation, quotes and quotes about you can't prepare for a revolution. It's Nveri the storyteller, but with Mwana Wamumbi. Feel the freshness. Welcome, family, to Let's Pop with Iruton. Again, it's Iruton Longoria, always talking about redefining Africa as we redefine ourselves. And I hope you're having a great, great Monday. I hope you're really excited for yet another week to actually doing it majorly with positive a positive attitude, because you know what, you are the creator of your life. Before we delve into a conversation this beautiful afternoon, morning, wherever you're at, buenos dias, buenos tardes, buenos nachos, la familia. Let's listen in to the health and benefits of multivitamin, amazing supplements we do have for you on our website. For $32.90, you'll get yourself some multivitamin. Also, we do have some ashwagandha definitely for you. For only $23.90, you'll get yourself some Ashok Wonder. Welcome to our conversation here on Let's Talk with Irutan. Again, the main topic is you can't prepare for a revolution. First of all, we're going to move forward to a conversation about the finance bill for 2025 to 2026 here in the 254 Nairobi, Kenya. Then we're going to go ahead to a case that has been going on. Also, we had a protest that was actually proceeding about the late Albert Ojwang's body, which also it's in regards to his body at Mbagathi Hospital. This is a CCTV footage that shows how everything happened and the fact that he was actually brought in dead at the hospital. Before we move forward, we remember that this is the month for the finance bill, and we do have an amount of 464.8 billion to bolster security sector. This is actually juggling my mind right now because we actually are talking about security. This includes the police section or the sector of also the police officer right now. And also, the government has significantly increased funding for the security sector in the 2025 to 2026 financial year, allocating 464.8 billion Kenyan shillings, up from 377.5 billion in the previous fiscal year, as part for its commitment to strengthening national defense, internal security, also and public safety. And presenting the budget estimates to Parliament on Thursday, Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi emphasized that a secure environment is essential for economic growth, which we actually do not have. The fact that we've been dealing with a lot of objection, a lot of scenarios that people actually just get lost and disappear without anybody actually putting the dots together or actually pushing for how everything that happened, until we did have this matter for the late Albert Ojwang. And right now they have increased the amount from 377.5 billion to 464.8 billion. And that goes to the security. This includes the defense sector, the National Police Service, the National Intelligence Service, the prison services, the Internal Security and National Administration, police motor vehicle leasing, Police Modernization Program, and also National Forensic Facility. And the Cabinet Secretary Mbadi explained that the increased allocation will support the recruitment, this is why it gets also vary, of additional police, which we actually do not understand their impact because we actually do not even feel safe being around within alongside police officers in Kenya. They're going to recruit an additional police, military, and prison personnel, expansion of security infrastructure, and modernization of operational equipment. It will also fund the digitization of key services such as passport insurance and national ID processing. This is what they say. These investments are critical not only for responding to emerging internal and external threats, but also for securing Kenya's long-term development agenda. It's actually a shocker because we're dealing with a lot of police brutality. We don't feel safe around police officer, and the budget comes out and they have increased an amount over like 100 billion more to go to the national or to the police security sector, as they say. For now, actually, the amount comes to 464.8 billion to bolster security sector. That's what's happening in regards to the budget, and that was actually read. And that's an additional of 100 billion that has been added from 377 billion to 464, almost 500 billion to go to the security or the national security sector, which we're still questioning their worth in regards to security. And that's why this amazing introduction about the security sector brings us to this conversation about the late Albert Ojwang. And there was a CCTV footage which showed how his body was taken in and out at Mbagathi Hospital.
In language interpreter tonight is Yula Nzale. We begin this broadcast with revelations regarding the murder of Albert Ojwang. Exclusive CCTV footage that Citizen TV obtained corroborates a Mbagathi Hospital report that stated that Ojwang was dead at the time of arrival at the hospital. The 40-minute video clip indicates that the police were well aware of Ojwang's state as they arrived at the hospital at 1:35 a.m.
They were aware of his death. So all this was just maybe a formality to showcase that maybe he was taken there whilst alive, but he was not alive. His body was taken to the hospital whilst dead.
Were well aware of Ojwang's.
And these are the police officers we're supposed to actually trust, feel safe around, right? And also the fact that right now there's an additional of 100 billion Kenya shillings that has been injected to bolster the national security or the security sector in the 254
state as they arrived at the hospital at 1:35 a.m. and were in no apparent hurry. They took him inside the facility 24 minutes later with no medic helping the police officers move his body from the police van into the building, where they only stayed for 10 minutes before his body was taken back to the vehicle. Gatete Njoroge stays on this developing story.
At exactly 1:35 a.m. on June 8th, CCTV footage at Mbagathi Hospital captures a police van driving into the facility. Inside the van were 3 officers. One of the officers was the driver. 2 officers got out of the car and could be seen conversing before making their way inside the hospital. The driver followed behind slowly, but even before they got to the emergency room, one of the officers received a call and the others followed him out. For 3 minutes, he was on the call before returning into the hospital building. All this time, the late Albert Ojwang was at the back of the police van. No one checked on him despite the officers having supposedly taken him to Mbagathi Hospital as a person who was gravely unwell. At 1:40 a.m., 2 officers were captured walking inside the hospital. searching for medics. 6 minutes later, they emerged with a stretcher and they got straight to the van. It took another 10 minutes to move him from the police van to the hospital. With the help of the security guard at the facility, the late Ojwang on a stretcher was pushed inside the facility at 1:59
I
a.m.
have to understand that he was brought in dead. He was brought in dead.
24 minutes after he was brought to the facility, inside the emergency room, Ojwang only stayed for 10 minutes, those in charge confirming the worst. The suspect was brought in dead. Mbagathi Hospital incident report indicated that
That's the evidence right there. Place of death, brought in dead by the police.
on examination, Ojwang was unresponsive, had no cardiac activity, and that his entire body was cold and face was swollen and with injuries. He also had a cut at the back of his head. At 2:10 a.m., the CCTV captured the officers leaving the emergency room with the body of the late Ojwang. 5 minutes later, the police van left the hospital parking with the corpse, which was later taken to city mortuary. Why were the officers not in a hurry to ensure he was attended to? Who were they talking to on their phones at a time when they were supposed to be busy ensuring he was attended to? Meanwhile, interdicted Central Police Station OCS Samson Talam, who is being held at Langata Police Station, has denied being at the Central Police Station when
And actually has been taken to Milimani courts today, maybe for investigation, literally in regards to what really happened to the late Albert Ojwang.
Ojwang was booked, claiming he had handed over duties to his deputy.
He handed all the instruments of his office. He handed over the pocket phone for communication to his deputy. We shall be producing CCTV footage to show that he was nowhere near the police station called Central Police Station.
The lawyers who have also disputed the claim of Talam interfering with the CCTV say they will move to the High Court to challenge his prosecution, claiming he is being framed. Gatete Njoroge, City.
That's what we're dealing with in regards to the case of the late Albert Ojwang. And it's amazing because I believe there's been a lot of abduction killings, but one day there's always an end to everything. And this actually brought a lot of uproar to actually face the main matter right now, because we also do have the education sector, the KUPED, who are actually on strike right now, or basically they have said they're not going to proceed or go back to their normal schedule of going back to school until justice has been brought to the late Albert Ojwang, because I believe he was a teacher. And we see a lot of police brutality, even all over the world. Even African Americans face this each and every time. I don't know if it's a thing in regards to how the police are, but mostly it's super hard and difficult in foreign nation because by the color of your skin, you're literally a suspect. But that's why I also want to share this video in regards to this conversation as we move on to another topic right away. Let's listen in right away as we talk about another conversation that I'm coming in right away.
Again, I'm 13 years old. All of you are adults. Adults, right? You can drive, you can drink, you can vote. I don't have that. When I asked my mom if I could be dropped off here, her response was, "Is it safe? Is it safe?" You know, we had someone come up here and talk, don't teach our children to disobey those who are protecting us. I don't see them protecting me. If you want to talk about those protecting me, I look to those who are standing right now because my trust isn't in them. I don't trust any of you. I don't trust any of the police officers because you have shown time and time again that we cannot trust you. think murder is okay. You can't sit here and tell me you don't think murder is okay because you're allowing it to happen. If you want to talk about God, you want to talk about Jesus, I'm a Christian. I don't know what God some of these people believe in, but it sure ain't mine. I have never read in the Bible where he said we should allow the people who are supposed to be protecting us kill us. I'm sorry, maybe I missed that scripture though. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Please, please do not make me sit here and scream another name. Do not sit here and make me beg. And God forbid that name is mine. God forbid that name is any of these people. God forbid. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I'm 13 years old. All of you are adults. Adults, right? You can drive, you can drink, you can vote. I don't have that. When I asked my mom if I could be dropped off here, her response was, is it safe? Is it safe? You know, we had someone come up here and talk, don't teach our children to disobey those who are protecting us. I don't see them protecting me. If you want to talk about those protecting me, I look to those who are standing right now because my trust isn't in them. I don't trust any of you. I don't trust any of the police officers because you have shown time and time again that we cannot trust you. I go to City High Middle School, just voted the top high school in the state. You know what they teach us? Teach us to speak up for yourself. We're IB learners, right? We're smart. None of you are smart. None of you can recognize murderers. You can identify that there is a problem, but you cannot fix it. I don't know much about the law. Again, I'm young, but I'm pretty sure an accomplice to a murder should be arrested. And right now, all of you sitting and doing nothing are accomplices to a murder.
Please refrain from the additional commentary. If you could let her finish.
I am frustrated, and frustrated can't even begin how absolutely terrified I am to live here. I'm expected to raise my kids here. I'm expected to go outside and walk my 5-year-old little brother. God forbid we look too scary. God forbid he accidentally is wearing his hood and we get the police called on us because we are window shopping to go steal later. I don't want to keep coming here. Trust me, this is not how I want to spend my night. I don't want to come here. I don't want to sit here and I don't want to have to beg you to stop killing people. That's not what I want to do. I have friends. I have other things that I could be doing, and I'm sitting in front of a group of adults who think murder is okay. You can't sit here and tell me you don't think murder is okay because you're allowing it to happen. If you want to talk about God, you want to talk about Jesus, I'm a Christian. I don't know what God some of these people believe in, but it sure ain't mine. I have never read in the Bible where he said we should allow the people who are supposed to be protecting us kill us. I'm sorry, maybe I missed that scripture though. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Please, please do not make me sit here and scream another name. Do not sit here and make me beg. And God forbid that name is mine. God forbid that name is any of these people. God forbid.
That's our 13-year-old talking about the martyrs in the United States of America and also the police brutality that always happens in regards to a lot of African Americans right there. We also do have news and updates about another man dies inside a police station in Kisumu. Kisumu County, Kenya. A man arrested on suspicion of stock theft has died while in police custody at Katito Police Station in Nyakat Sub-County, Kisumu County. Under circumstances, authorities are now treating as an apparent suicide the same case that we've had about the late Albert Ojwang. And according to a police report filed on Friday night, the man has been brought to the station earlier that morning by the chief of Agoro West location. Less than 2 hours later, he was found hanging from the grill of a police cell door, using a vest as a noose. The incident was discovered after Sergeant Nixon Lukwa reportedly heard a commotion coming from the cell block and alerted officers on duty. Police constables Juliana Koka and Andrew Okongo, who are manning the report, office the report office, and Cell respectedly responded immediately. The same thing that actually happened in regards to the case that's been going on right now, the same thing that has happened actually. That was 2 days ago. Another man dies inside police station in Kisumu. Welcome, General Mosquito. How are you doing? Well, you're welcome to another conversation about you can prepare for a revolution. But I started with another conversation about a case that has been going on here in the 254 Nairobi, Kenya, regarding the late Albert Ojwang. And there has been a CCTV footage that has been found at the hospital that he was taken at Mbagathi police station in regards to how everything happened. And according to the documents, or actually the signing in and out, he was brought in dead. So a lot happened at the police station for him to be brought in dead, right? And we do have the OCS by the name Ntalam, who has been taken to the Milimani courts for investigation because he's super connected to this case. But we're going to delve into another conversation before we actually delve into another conversation about albinism and melanin. But right now, let's talk about the Jews and the fact that they were not white by the one and only Joshua Maponga, who actually went to Europe a few days ago, and he actually renamed some parts of Europe. He did that, yes. He's like, the fact that they came to Africa and actually renamed a lot of places, a lot of beautiful sceneries by their name. The one and only Joshua Maponga III, the Pan-Africanist from Zimbabwe, who has now discovered Europe. And just like European explorers, that's what he says, discovered Africa, while people were already living there, the living ancestor, Joshua Maponga III, has now discovered Europe. Documented in his history book, Farmers of Thought. You know his book, Farmers of Thought, literally. And Maponga has now given Britain new names as follows. I'm going to read like five or 6 or 10 of them. England, General Mosquito, listen to this. I think he literally had this in the morning. This is the new name of England according to Joshua Maponga. England is now called Pambeb Fumi, meaning Tom Raiders, plunderers of wealth. London, Rudanda, House of the Weaklings. Manchester, Kumagaba, homes of noisy things. Birmingham, Berejena, white hyenas. That's what he named Birmingham. Cambridge, the new name of Cambridge according to Joshua Maponga, is Ngoma Huru, the house of noisy drums, den of madness. Oxford, Misonzi Yafureka, tears of Africa. And then English, the language, Chirungurira, teeth on the edge. Oh my God. Some are just too much. I don't know if I should definitely go on. Well, we do have the cell phone, or the cell phone that we do use, Potongere, the teen of intelligence. We also do have the last one, Buckingham Palace. His name is Makuvatsine. I believe he's all Zimbabwean language, literally. And what is named Birmingham is gatherers of spiky grass. According to Joshua Maponga, he went and literally, just like the European explorers, discovered Africa while people were already living in Africa. So the one and only Joshua Maponga definitely now discovered Europe and gave names to these names that are actually known as what we know as London. Right now, he's named London as the House of the Weaklings, Manchester, the home of noisy things, Cambridge, the den of madness, and also Oxford, tears of Africa, London, the house of the weaklings, as he actually ushers us to a conversation about the fact that Jews were not white. Let's listen
it's critical
to this
that the Jews must be white.
amazing conversation with the one and only Joshua Maponga.
It's critical that the Jews must be white, theologically. Because once the Jews are white, and they're at the door of the Bible, then anyone who reads this text must read it through the interpretation and the culture of those that are claimed to be Jews. So once the Jews are white, do you have a problem with the white Jesus? Why would you have a problem? It's a rewriting, it's a stealing of black history. Blatant. One of the biggest lies ever told on the face of the earth is that Jews are white. One of the biggest lies ever told historically, academically, ethnographically. Go back and purge through your history books. Find me a white man who was taken as a slave in Israel, from Israel to Egypt, to work to build the pyramids. You must find his real name, Netanyahu. That one is a fake name for Israel. Donald Trump will be successful in America based on one factor, that he represents what they say to each other when we are not there. Meet the Maasai way, just take a drumstick or the leg of a whole goat and put a stick into it, and then you make it sit on the fire like that. And you spin it every 15, 20 minutes. And man, it was magic. It was maybe 6 of us, professor from Kenya University there, and some friends from Nakuru, and we had a wonderful time.
And I see you're also joined by a lot of Pan-African scholars, some of them from the US.
Yeah.
I'm a very big fan of Professor Lumumba.
Oh, God must connect you. Professor. Yeah. We're big friends. And we met up with ambassadors of other Caribbean countries, because we also need to reduce the distance between the Caribbean and Africa, so that we're all one people. And these are our children in diaspora who are suffering seemingly in a different space, but the politics is exactly the same. And as of yesterday and last night, I'm actually consulting for Guyana. They are also going for political elections now in a few months.
Okay.
But they're struggling with an inflated voters register, which is being rigged, and the whole process is flawed. And what we thought were African problems, our brothers and sisters across the Caribbean are suffering almost in the same way. So it beginning to share these issues. The Colombia ambassador to Kenya was there. The Colombian ambassador also from St. Martin's was there. And the Pan-African movement is alive and well. And the whole idea is to actually consolidate our narrative and make sure that we share with the same voice across the continent and beyond.
I don't know. There's so much to talk about. I don't know where you want us to start today.
At the beginning, go slowly. When you reach the end, you stop.
Let's go slowly. Do we start with Kenya? Do we start with the DRC? Do we start with Zimbabwe? Maybe let's start with Zim.
Yeah.
And then we'll end up with South Africa.
And I was saying, last time we met the gold mafias, we were busy making noise in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Only when the story hit Standard Bank, it hit RMB Bank, it hit Old Mutual, it hit Anglo-American, and the real people who are the gold mafias, behind those we thought were the gold mafias, then the story just died and dissipated unceremoniously. But we've always known, as Africans, that we cannot, when actually the money on the table is more than 100 billion. And the Africans are fighting over morsels of change, as it were crumbs of bread. And the real corrupt people are the financial institutions of this world, the insurance companies of this world, the military gun manufacturers of this world, the Soros guys, the Rothschild people, who are sitting on top of the food chain, controlling the politics of the world, deciding who goes into power. That's where the real mother of corruption is happening. And what we see at the bottom, the guy being given a car, being given a small little villa to live in France, and some small little loose change dumped into a Mauritius account, and some Swiss account, Virgin Islands account, and then the whole African continent goes in shock to say there's some corruption. I mean, who speaks about the 890 billion worth of export smuggled materials and resources that are leaving African borders.
That is so true, General Mosquito. I definitely agree with you.
Every year. Who speaks about that? Real corruption. Who speaks about the diamonds that are disappearing in Congo, in Zimbabwe, and in Namibia? Where are they going? Who is eating all these voluminous types of monies? And they're bringing in guns. They give us guns to kill each other. They take the minerals and they go to their own countries. So yes, Zimbabwe, we're doing fine, but not very fine. We're doing fine. And the Zimbabwean problem is in Africa.
I believe also, General Mosquito, when you think about everything that they did, the looting, the stealing, the inferiority complex, the mind indoctrination, it makes you really upset. It makes you really upset, honestly. So I can understand where Joshua Maponga is literally coming from, because it's like, how dare they did this, you know? So it's a lot comes with it.
I wrote an article this morning actually to extrapolate and extend the depth of the problem. And I can only do that from the perspective of the ancient, which I understand very well. In the older days when people went to war, they would if you remember Shaka, the Bunganes, in training and preparing Shaka for war, preparation for war. You go there and you fight and you fight and you fight. In some glimpses, when you watch the movie Ushaka, when the soldiers came back, they'll be sitting in the river there, detoxing. Because when you're at war, you become an animal. You kill people, you do all those things. You almost live like a wild animal. And then you come back, because you've killed people, you've killed animals, you've done things that are despicable during war. When you come back, then we cleanse you, we clean you up. Then we take all these cow horns, we cut them, we stick them on your back to remove, extra energies that are negative. We bath you in sacred waters, we smoke you. Steaming is what you put you in these big dumbas, we smoke you there, we steam you up. What we detox and humanize you for 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks, in some certain cases, even 6 months, 3 months. Men are there, but you can't touch them. And food is brought to them. When the cleansers and the priests are happy that
we're gonna go on a short commercial break regarding the supplements we do have for you and the apparel clothing we do have for you on our website. Remember, you can download our app on the Google Play Store, stream on www.blackhotfirenetwork.com for amazing healthy supplements, apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it. If you're using the computer, kindly stream on www.blackhotfirenetwork.com for amazing healthy supplements, apparel clothing with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it. Have a lot of apparel clothing, hoodies, dad hats, beanie hats, sandals lights. Also have the flag and the mags with the Black Hot Fire Radio logo on it. And if you're using the Android device, remember you can also get your amazing healthy supplements, the like of ashwagandha, multivitamin, and the one and only beetroot. So remember to actually do that as I share some of the supplements we do have for you on our website as we continue with the conversations of the day right away.
Discover the natural power of ashwagandha, an ancient herb known for its healing properties. For over 3,000 years, ashwagandha has been trusted to reduce stress, increase energy, and improve focus. Our ashwagandha is carefully grown, harvested, and processed to retain its maximum potency. Each root is hand-picked and dried, then ground into a pure organic powder, ensuring the highest quality. Simply mix 1 teaspoon into your favorite beverage or take it in capsule form as prescribed by a healthcare professional. Whether you're looking to balance your stress levels, boost your immune system, or enhance mental clarity, ashwagandha offers a natural solution. Experience the benefits of ancient wisdom backed by modern science. Trust nature. Trust ashwagandha. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
$23.90. You'll get yourself some ashwagandha. Also, we do have the likes of Brain Focus.
Unlock your full potential with Brain and Focus, a powerful supplement designed to boost mental clarity, enhance memory, and sharpen concentration. Made from a blend of scientifically proven ingredients like ginkgo biloba, omega-3, and essential vitamins, Brain and Focus is crafted to fuel your mind. Our process ensures maximum potency and effectiveness, delivering the perfect balance of brain-boosting nutrients. Take just one capsule daily, as prescribed by your healthcare provider, and feel the difference. Whether it's powering through your workday or staying sharp in life's challenges, Brain and Focus keeps you at the top of your game. Stay sharp, stay focused, and stay ahead with Brain and Focus. Brain and Focus, fuel your mind, achieve more. Go get this product at blackhotfirenetwork.com at the Sports and Nutrition Store.
For super affordable prices, you'll get yourself some Brain Focus. You'll also get yourself some ashwagandha, beetroot, alcohol cucumber, soap, and we also have the shea butter for the ladies. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world, but also a conversation that we have been talking about. You can prepare for a revolution. We understand like it's a trigger, right? You don't prepare for it to believe it just happens. You have to be ready. And sometimes you definitely just have to wake up, because the universe will actually rise a lot of people, a lot of teachers, a lot of warriors to walk into that part. And you have to actually be super, I believe, keen to actually understand what's really happening. I always talk about how Captain Ibrahim Traore right now is a light for so many maybe who can actually not do the research, or he can be like a beginning for you to start asking questions, because he's doing amazing for Burkina Faso right away. He's doing a lot than a lot of African leaders have ever done. He's showing you that it is possible to have an independent nation, independent country. He's showing you it's basically very, very able for us to actually stand on our own. But it begins by understanding who you are. It begins by you taking authority of your own land and actually cutting off any thought and feeling of inferiority complex. It actually goes back in regards to you knowing who you are and actually taking power and not waiting for it to be given to you. Reparation actually has sent me a report about Burkina Faso, right? And Russia is to help Burkina Faso and Mali build nuclear plants. It's actually amazing because she was here and she talked about this conversation about the fact that Russia is actually helping Burkina Faso and Mali to build nuclear plants. She talked about the fact that their relation actually, when you think about it, is why is Burkina Faso aligning with Russian and not the United States, right? And she actually questioned that, but she actually came to a conclusion about the fact that maybe there's a reason why Captain Ibrahim Traore is actually aligning or in collaboration with Russian. And we see why literally it made sense even at the beginning right away. But we're going to continue our conversation right away right now in regards to what we were talking about. Also, we're going to go to the next conversation about albinism and melanin.
Ancestors, I don't come alone. I come with all of them from the great kingdom of Zimbabwe, which includes...
This is whilst Joshua Maponga had gone to Europe, and the fact that I believe obviously had been a conference. After that, he went and explored Europe and renamed actually most of the places in Europe.
Included Tanzania, Malawi, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, even South Africa, Lesotho, and Swaziland. The great kingdom of Zimbabwe has more than 286 sites, with the great Zimbabwe as the greatest. just for the purpose of the record, we had the Great Zimbabwe before you had Great Britain. Just so that you know. We were there as early as the 5th, 6th century. The British Kingdom can only be spoken about in the 17th century, which is yesterday. We were great before even the British knew how to bath, before they even knew how to build a street. We were building empires. We are not from the Great Zimbabwe Kingdom. We are from the Great Zimbabwe Empire. And the Zimbabwe Empire worked together with the Congo, the Chitikulu empires within the Congo Basin. Monomotapa is from the 14th, 18th century. He was the last one. But before Monomotapa, we had Murenga, we had Tovera from the great spaces of Guruswa and Embo. So Monomotapa is the colonial history, which they, and by the way, while we are there, let me be quick to remind you that the new name for Britain is now going to be called Pambek for me. I discovered it. I discovered a place where people's ears shine with the sun. I found people who have no knees. I found tomb raiders. And we have decided to call them Pambek for me, which means the thieves of other people's wealth.
I actually started with that. It's now called Pambek for me, meaning tomb raiser or tomb raisers, plunderers of wealth.
So from today onwards, you are not living in Britain. You are living in Pambek for me. And
Did you hear that, General Mosquito? You're living in Pambek for me, not in England, okay?
London in particular will no longer be called London. It will be called Rundonda, the place of the weaklings. Rundonda. Ndonda is someone who's always weak. I've never seen a country and a town which has a sick mental hospital on every corner of the street. So you are not in London here, you are in Rundonda. And the River Thames is no longer River Thames, it's going to be called Zvaremga, a pool of dogs. Not even dogs can drink from that river, dirty river. But anyway, the list can go on, as we have also discovered this land. But I come here not in an arrogant way. This used to belong to the great Moors. The queens of the palace themselves are not white people, they are black. Just in case you did not know, I came to visit my grandchildren here. Though they think they are white, their royalty is all black. How can you put a lion as a symbol on your kingdom when you don't even know what a lion looks like? That's for another day. I bring you good news from the great empires of the South, with the empires of Central Africa and Embo, Kirinyagas, the Embo kingdoms of Congo. I bring you greetings from Abyssinia, that is a great Ethiopian space. I bring you greetings from Carthage, which is the Egyptians and the Libyans, though they whitened up with the white Arabs, but the original Egypt was actually the dark-skinned. Just in case you did not know. Why do I say that with such arrogance? Because the Masons who built the great Zimbabwe, the pyramids of Sudan, the pyramids of Nigeria, did you know we have more pyramids in Sudan than we have in Egypt? But anyway, if you don't know, you don't know. And then you talk about the Stonehenge here, which is so primitive. When you get to the Great Zimbabwe and in Zaloyelanga and Mpumalanga, then you'll find the correct science of the clock, which they try to duplicate in the Stonehenge here. So, man, we are not talking about their history. This is our history. I went there to Stonehenge It will no longer be called Stonehenge, it will be called Mashingo, the place of ruins, the place of stones. When you get there, you find our huts all thatched up grass, exactly the way we do it in the South. And I looked at this history and I said, no, 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 no. You did not start making these thatched houses. This is stolen history. You were in the caves of the Caucasus, right in the caves there. So when you start talking construction, architecture, masonry,
This is the real education that we should have been taught in school. Whatever Joshua Maponga is talking about, everything. This is true education about who we are. And I love the fact that he's very consistent about these conferences. Whatever he's visiting, he's always talking about our true identity as African. Because if you listen to this over and over and over and over, you actually understand who you are as an African. This is not something that you are taught when you just walk at the road, where you basically start going to school. No, you're not taught about your identity. You're taught about things which are actually, in terms of history, let me talk about that. We are taught a lot, actually, everything that does not identify with us. But you just put yourself in that position right now and just imagine if you were taught about this since the day you actually started school. I believe we would be unshakable and unstoppable right now. But it's okay because nature always goes back to its natural cause. We are still, it's an awakening. So regardless, nature has to go back to its natural cause. And we are cutting off the inferiority conflicts that has been affecting a lot of Africans because we are conditioned to think that we are not worthy enough, we're not good enough, we're not it. Not knowingly that we are royalty, we are the originators of civilization. Another conversation right away about albinism. I'm going to delve into right away, right here. And we understand albinism affects the production of melanin, the pigment that colors skin, that is melanin hair and eyes. It's a lifelong condition. We're talking about albinism right now, but it does not get worse over time. People with albinism have reduced amount of melanin or no melanin at all. These can affect their coloring and their eyesight. Well, you can ask yourself, or basically going deeper into that, what causes albinism? Most of the time, according to Google, someone has albinism because they inherited the gene for it from both their mother and father. Having just one of the genes, being a carrier, in brackets, does not give you albinism. Most parents of children with albinism do not have any symptoms. Alrighty, and also, what are the signs or symptoms of albinism? You're going to delve into that right away. Pale skin, hair that is very light blonde, brown, or reddish, eyes that are pink, light blue, green, gray, or light brown. We also do have eyes or a lazy eye called strabismus. We also do have back and forth movement of the eyes and also vision problem because we do have a 15-year-old Zimbabwean young lady who develops or basically develops organic sunscreen to help people with albinism. So Mwape Chimpamba, a 15-year-old student from Naboye Secondary School in Kafue, has developed an organic sunscreen aimed at protecting people with albinism and often overlooked group at high risk of skin cancer. Moape's motivation is deeply personal. In 2017, her father, who had albinism, passed away from skin cancer, a death she attributed to a lack of access to proper sun protection. She says, "My father couldn't afford sunscreen. That's something that stayed with me." She shared in a recent interview. Moape, who also has albinism, along with her younger sister, decided she wanted to change that reality for others. Her solution, a locally made sunscreen formulated from natural ingredients, including fruits, vegetables, spices, and aloe vera. The product is affordable, organic, and specifically designed for high ultraviolet environments like Zambia. With an SPF of 22, it exceeds the basic protective threshold recommended for people with albinism. And her innovation earned her a spot among the top finalists and drew the attention of the Zambia Research and Development Center, which has since stepped in to support her work. But the sunscreen is more than just a science project. It's part of growing movement calling for a better protection for people with albinism. And this is especially urgent in regions like sub-Saharan Africa, where strong sunlight and limited access to protective skincare leaves people with albinism extremely vulnerable. That's in regards to Zambian teenager who developed organic sunscreen to help people with albinism. And actually, as I stated in regards to what albinism is, it says it affects the production of melanin. Going back to what melanin is a substance in our bodies that produces hair, eye, and skin pigmentation. And the more melanin you produce, the darker your eyes, hair, and skin will be. The amount of melanin in your body depends on a few different factors, including genetics and how much sun exposure your ancestral population had. But also delving into another conversation before I basically wind up right away, we do have Murkomen, the CS of I believe it's the security, if I'm not wrong. He's actually ushered CCTV to actually be fitted in every police station. Isn't it amazing right now that they're actually doing this? This is something they could have done a long time ago, to fit CCTVs in police station, because actually I remember Shimani mentioned that aspect about the fact that why don't we have CCTVs in police station? This is Murkomen talking about it right away as I wind up.
It shall be mandatory to equip police stations with CCTV surveillance to enhance transparency and accountability. All the police stations currently standing at 1,209 shall have CCTV surveillance within the next 2 years. We shall be making proposals to Parliament to enact laws that criminalize tampering with CCTV cameras. The surveillance system shall be in the custody of the officer commanding station, and the said officer shall be required to ensure that the system is always functioning. And instances of fault, it shall be reported within 1 hour through the established chain of command. The CCTV shall have an external backup system.
That's more like it, but this is something that I could have already done a long time ago, because there's a lot that really happened in those police stations, police cells, a lot of things that we can actually not even foresee or actually want to actually watch. But the fact that they've actually decided to do this, that's a good thing. And also the police sector has to actually be rechecked. As I always say, we just need a lot of things to be scraped up in the African government. It has been with the Irritan Longoria, and the conversation has been, you can prepare for a revolution, talking more about our African identity. We've delved into a conversation about Joshua Maponga renaming some parts of Europe as he explored Europe, and also I've delved in more deeper into the conversation about the late Albert Ojwang. Remember, you are the change you need to see in the world, and it's always a great time to be alive. Here again, it's me, Irutan Longoria. Thank you, General Mosquito, and everybody who joined me right away. Take care. Have a beautiful, beautiful week, a major week. You're magical, and you are a creator. So let this week be fabulous and magical. Much love, and remember, you are the change you need to see in the world. Bye-bye.
Greetings and salutations.
You're now listening to the best music.
Brother, all the way in Switzerland. And I'm reaching out to all of our brothers and sisters on the African continent. You're tuning into Black Fire Radio.
You're now listening to the best music. 1 hour of the hottest tracks and coolest mashups of the moment.